Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Harakah Kodash, a double honors unto the elders and apostles at GMS Great Millstone. The sincere Shalom to Yakim preaching his word in diligence and in truth. So we're coming again, another day on the highways and hedges. This is GMS Las Vegas, or GMS Sin City Camp. You know, we come to tell the downfall of this American society that you call home, you know?
Right.
So right now, you got a bunch of turmoil happening in America and a bunch of trade wars happening across these different countries. You know, you got the yuan about to take effect, I believe, tomorrow. You know, so that shows that the American economy is about to collapse. Everybody is backing out of the U.S. dollar, and people are starting to realize that America isn't the great nation that they say it is, you know? A bunch of wickedness is here. You got a bunch of turmoil and tension inside these communities. You just had that march in, I believe, D.C. about the gun control, which is totally off, because, you know, Esau ain't about to give up his weapons. The devil ain't about to give away the blessing that the Lord gave him, you know? So that's going to start race riots. That's going to spark race riots, because kind of civil wars. Because the Edomites ain't about to give up their guns. You know, they believe in that Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Because if you look at the Second Amendment, it states that you can basically rebel against the government if they're coming against you. So it gives you the power to fight against them.
So if I could make a quick analogy, two things. One was Waco, Texas with David Koresh. The reason that the government, they just had that TV movie or whatever, miniseries, they was able to go in there and just lay them people down because they didn't have guns to protect themselves, not on a high enough level. Now fast forward.
They did have guns though, because that first raid that they had, that shit ended up turning into a standoff. And 4 ATF agents got. And that was the issue. They really, what they didn't like about that cult leader was that he was actually one of those patriotic, even though he was claiming to be the Messiah, you know, he was a cult leader, but he actually believed in, you know, his Second Amendment rights, you know, and the fact that, you know, they considered him armed and dangerous because of, you know, the investigations behind him, how, you know, he had, you know, a bunch of women and children up in his compound. You know, he was having relations with underage women. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they were purchasing arms, man. You know, like I'm talking about like assault rifle type of weapons. So the ATF, they went up in there, man. And it was a situation that happened months before that, up in I believe it was in Oregon, and there was a standoff there, okay, and people got killed, and it was the FBI that was involved, and the ATF had to cover their ass because, you know, they was doing dirt even with that particular case. So when it came down to Waco, the FBI, they stood back and was like, hey, we're gonna leave that on them, you know? So that's what was going on. But the fact that these people was able to stand up and like shoot back, that's what eventually led to Esau coming in there. You know, you had Janet Reno, you know, and they basically, they was the ones that under the Clinton administration to send them tanks to stop them, man. So that shows you what, if either you got to comply to the government or you got to fight, and if you fight, you gonna fight to the death. You know,
because the government got bigger guns than you, man. Period, point blank. Now I was gonna tie that into that the Bundy thing that happened here also. They had guns and they came down to a standoff. Clive and Bundy, I think his name was, right? They had a standoff there too. But if you give your weapons away, now they know, and you give up your Second Amendment rights, now you can't stop them from doing whatever they want to do. You're beaten into submission. You want to bring that up? Okay. Second Ezra 15 and 16, it says, matter of fact, let me start up with 15. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
God, talking about the guns.
It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another.
It's going to be tension, it's going to be turmoil, it's going to be race riots, you know? Not only are the people going to rebel or fight against the American government, the troops or whatever, but people are going to have a conflict between their communities or their cities.
said, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
God, and they're not gonna regard their government officials either, you know? Because everybody becomes a target. It becomes a dog-eat-dog society. Every man for himself. You know, they show you in these shows like, what's the zombie show? I can't think of it. God, The Walking Dead. They got all these factions where people are grouped together to basically survive. And once a many militias, once another group come inside another barrier or territory, it's all out war, you know, because they fighting for survival. They fighting for resources, they fighting for land, ammunition, you know, all those things that make them last until the end. But even at that, all them fighting, thinking that they gonna make it, they still gonna die in the end result. Because you got Yahweh Shai with the host of heaven coming. You know?
And the message from World War III.
Gone.
That was it on that. So hit the
Gone. Brother got
I gotta appreciate it.
Gone.
Luke chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
God, nation gonna rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So this is it's gonna be an all-out war, you know. And it's gonna be a war in between cities, and it's gonna be a war what you call it?
Nations.
Of nations, God, it's like it. Countries, countrywide.
And I want to jump to 23. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
God, it says, woe to those that give suck. So it's talking about who? Woe to those women that's pregnant. Woe to those women that got babies. Because it's going to be hard to feed your children when it ain't no food available. You know, the mama got to eat first in order for the baby to fulfill her, in order for the baby to fill up their stomach. You know, and if it's not a proper nutrition, then the baby going to get fed. I mean, the baby not going to get fed, so lucky. And also with that comes even more responsibility, because now the baby's still going to be a baby, so it's going to cry. You know, it's going to poop everywhere, so that brings, what you call it, noise or, not distraction, noise or trouble. It's going to bring trouble unto you, kind of disturbance unto you. Because that baby is going to bring, because the scripts talk about how the wild beasts are going to be roaming in that day too, you know, along with the apparitions. So if your baby is stinky, you don't got no diaper, no running water, that baby going to bring a smell. Now you're going to either have to hide that baby, you're going to have to eat the baby, or you just going to have to kill him. Because the scripts also talks about cannibalism coming back to America.
Yeah, that's going to be the solution.
God.
For you to eat and to get rid of that crying ass baby that keeps giving up your position or wherever you're trying to hide.
Because it came down, I forgot what exact time period, but I believe it was in the, I want to say the 1800s, but don't quote me on that, where it was a time where it was a bunch of snowfall basically, and a bunch of men and women had to eat what they had on. Basically, they had to eat their boots, the tongues of their boots, their leather belts, all the things that basically kept them warm. They had to fulfill their stomachs with what they had, you know, and a lot of them died because of it.
They also did that in 70 AD, the siege of Jerusalem.
That's what I was going to
got
mention.
squeezed out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Basically, back then, because the Roman armies, they was putting the pressure on Jake to where if you was in the city, you couldn't get out. You couldn't get out of the city if you was there. And if you was out of the city, you ain't coming in. That's how they besieged Jake, man. Jake, Yahweh Shai told them, hey, flee into the mountains, man. If you don't want to, you know, partake in this, you have to get up out of here. Make sure you don't take nothing with you. Leave everything here. It's not going to be a stone left, you know. And it's a story going in secular history. You had Mary of Beth. What was her? Mary of Beth. What was her name, man? Matter of fact, try to Google it real quick. But what it shows you is that you know, she was in famine, man.
Is it in the Bible or is it secular history?
It's actually secular history.
Yeah.
Mary of
Bethany?
Beth Azuba. And then, matter of fact, somebody get Deuteronomy 28 and 56, 57. And this is also a cut to you clowns. All right, that vocab is trying to co-sign to come against the truth, because one of them niggas made a claim that the book of Deuteronomy is not a prophetic book. Right? What we're getting ready to go into is, this was said by Moses in the book of Deuteronomy, and this didn't occur or happen until around the time of the Roman Empire. So get that, and then if you can find that in look it up.
Yeah, I'll start at
Mary of Memphis.
yeah, Deuteronomy 28 and 55. I'm gonna start there. It says,
BETH.
so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children. Let me start up, bro.
Yeah,
54.
start up. Yeah, start up.
No, 53.
3.
Hold on. No, 50.
Yeah, 53.
52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down. That's what that's talking about, going into taking over our city, namely Jerusalem. It said,
and mind you, basically when you besiege a city, that's basically martial law.
Yep.
The modern term for that is martial law.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. Al.
It says, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest. It says, throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land.
Just like, because the scriptures tell you that, you know, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place.
Yep.
Jerusalem is Israel. That's us.
Yep.
Everywhere where we at in Babylon the Great today, the land of our captivity, all those urban cities, that's Jerusalem. Well, Esau is going to besiege Jerusalem again. Okay? Especially when the economy collapses and there's austerity measures out here, and Jake start running buck wild out here, and Edomites start getting harmed as a result. That's when the local law enforcement, the police force, and even the National Guard, that's when they're gonna come into all these different cities where Jake is at, and they're gonna shut that shit down.
And these Gurkha troops.
And those Gurkha troops, man. And they're gonna regulate, basically, because the president has the power to sign executive orders into legislation.
Yep.
And under those executive orders, they can seize your freedom.
That's right.
Okay? If they want you to go to a location, you gotta go. If you gotta be at your home at a specific time, you have a curfew. You gotta obey that.
That's right.
If you can't grow your food,
Yep.
you gotta get your food from them.
That's right.
Okay?
And they can cut off how much food you get also.
Exactly.
That's exactly what they do.
And if you get caught trying to basically deliver aid to people, they can come and lock you up.
Yep.
Okay? So this is gonna happen again, man. All right, and right now, what the brothers getting ready to go into, the economy is on its way out.
Yep.
That dollar is getting ready to go. That's what's gonna lead up to this type of event, man. So let's finish that, bro.
Okay. It says,
That's right here, bro.
yeah, which the Lord thy power hath given thee. It says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters.
God, the fruit of your own body is the fruit of your womb, your children.
Yep.
And it said, what else, bro?
Yeah, that's what it said. It said, the flesh of thy sons and,
Yep.
and of thy daughters,
God.
which the Lord Yahweh thy power hath given thee.
God, because you're gonna be eating you're gonna result to what we call austerity measures. Basically the hardest of the hard. You're gonna result into eating your own flesh and blood.
Yep.
Because it ain't gonna be no food available. Because the dollar gonna collapse, so you ain't gonna have no way to have no income, or ain't gonna have no source of income to purchase anything. It's basically gonna go back to the old days. It's either you're gonna have the barter system, and that's only gonna last for so long, because if you bartering in gold and trying to get things like that, that's not gonna save you in that day. The scripts talk about how
You want food.
you gonna want food, because you can't eat that gold, you know? And those that's gonna get the gold, or those that's gonna barter for the gold, is dumb, because they think that the American economy is gonna come back.
There's
That's
gonna
why
be
they
some value.
that gold ain't gonna help you.
Your life is gonna be where the value is at. Having bullets and guns is where the value is at. Why do you think they're taking guns now?
Yep.
They're trying to shut down, get these gun buybacks and seize your guns and marches for guns. This is an instrumental to what's about to go down. You won't have a weapon to protect yourself or defend yourself, man.
Right.
Anyway, it says, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. That martial law time period you're talking about, right? And it happened before, and it's going to happen again. 54, it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. That's the sedition among men we read about already, even your own kind. It says, and toward the wife of his bosom, because a man, hey, just like that, you put Tom and Jerry or any of those animals, even if they were friends, you put them on an island together, and they start on these cartoons, they start looking at each other like, I know that's the homie, but he's looking like a steak.
Gun.
He's looking like a ham bone or whatever, you know? Anyway, it says, you was gonna say something? Okay, it says, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
Yeah.
Because he has nothing left of him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
Okay.
The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
Gun. Because when everybody hungry, everybody look at each other. Everybody is basically selfish when they get hungry. You know, you get mad easier. You get agitated easier. You get it's basically like all your senses, they I don't want to say they get heightened. So you basically become a selfish individual. You're not looking out for the next person to eat. You're looking out for your own belly. You gotta satisfy you. So if you the strongest man and you got a bunch of group of people around you, you're gonna beat everybody up or kill everybody to get that last meal.
And what was that movie? The Belko Experiment.
Gone.
But instead of it being about food, it was about the guns to who could control the group.
Gone.
And then the test or the game or whatever it was about, hey, kill all these people if you want to live.
Gone.
But didn't everybody but the one guy didn't die like they said? Didn't the experiment go perfectly as they said? Well, only one of you gonna walk out of here.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Gone.
Anyway, it says
Hey, Salakia, a dog will attack his own child if the dog is hungry and he's eating his food and his child getting in the way of his doggy bowl, he'll attack his own child.
Gone. That happened in the animal kingdom all the time. Lions, if the male lion don't get as much as he want, the cubs ain't eating. The female ain't eating either. He gonna make sure he got his, cause he understand that he gotta run it. You know?
Yep, it's a little more. It says, verse 57, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for the want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates.
So her nourishment is going to be her own son.
Yep.
All right, little Keon, he going to fill your belly.
It's a little tay-tay.
They got that account of Kings.
Hey, get this account though real quick.
This Mary of Bethzeba, the story of Mary of Bethzeba.
And this is the historical account based off of the Josephus. All right, go ahead.
It says the story of Mary of Bethzeba is a story of cannibalism told by Josephus in his Jewish war, which occurred as a consequence of famine and starvation during the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD by Roman legions commanded by Titus. Since the tale is Says the tale is only one account of the horrors suffered at Jerusalem in the summer of 70 AD. Josephus relates that there was a Mary, daughter of Eleazar, originally from the village of Bethzeba in the district of Perea east of the Jordan River, who had previously fled to Jerusalem. Distinguished in family and fortune, her property, treasures, and food had been plundered by the Jewish defenders of the city during the siege. Famine was eating her.
Distress, man. Austerity, man.
The defenders of the city. I think that was the ones fighting against the troops.
Yeah, because you had zealots, you know, that was trying to fight back, man. They all got killed off. You know, they were trying to take the power in their own hands, man. You know, like you read what's going on, when you read what happened back then, and then you read about the prophecy in 2nd Esdras 15, it's like those same occurrences were happening. Okay, back in 70 AD, man. It was a lack of bread, it was tribulation. People were fighting against each other.
Martial law.
cannibalism, martial law, all that was
Famine.
happening, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no new thing under the sun.
Con.
That which have been is that which shall be,
Hey,
man.
that was even in the time of the Maccabees.
Yep.
Another similar event like that.
Yep. Yeah, you can read a little more, then you know.
Con. Famine was eating her heart out, and rage consuming her still faster.
Hey, cause that's one of the worst
Yeah.
ways to go, man. That's excruciating pain right there,
Con, 'cause
man.
you're-
That's torture. That's torment, man.
Because your body starts to eat itself, you know?
Yep.
It looks at, like, for example, if you got a lot of muscle, that's the first thing your body gonna attack. You
Yeah,
got the
it
fat,
goes fat,
kind of
then
fat,
the muscle.
muscle,
Yep.
and then basically, because you're gonna get thirsty too if you ain't got nothing to eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, go, bro.
Go ahead.
Con, so you basically, your body is using all the nutrients that you had stored up. It's like hibernation with the bears. The bears store up all the winter, and then during the winter, they basically get slimmer because their body is eating off the nutrients and fats
Yeah, they eat
that
a
they
lot.
had.
They eat a lot. They eat a lot in the right in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
so they get real fat that they can just kind of rest and be on low energy, but their body is still getting nutrients, and so they slim down by the time the spring come around when they come out the bear caves or whatever they eat.
Con,
Yeah, the scriptures say it's better to perish by the sword than by
Yeah.
hunger,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Con, because that could take days, you know? You know, they say you can't go, 3 days without water? 3 or 4 days without water?
Some people say you can go longer.
You can go longer.
Yeah, but you're gonna need some
you-
spiritual
yeah, for real.
to
Yeah.
help you in there.
God.
Because most people bug out mentally.
I mean, you have men of the Lord that was able to go,
Yeah,
you know, 40 days.
40 days, yeah.
But we
Moses
ain't
did.
built like them from back then.
Right, their spirits
You know?
were a lot stronger also.
Plus, here in Babylon, we developed that carnal state of, you know, always having to stuff your face whenever you feel like it, because you have accessibility to it. You know, you have the convenience of, you know, you can go and wake up at midnight and grab you a pack of cookies or
Con,
something
go
out
to
your
Jack in the
cabinet.
crack.
Go to a drive-through in the middle of the night. You can do all that here.
Also, we're not eating real food. So this
Exactly.
food we eat, it prones our bodies and conditions our bodies to fucking want more and more and more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it wants the nutrients that it's not getting.
Yeah.
Con, and then with all the additive chemicals, you got the MSG and all these different GMOs, they it's like trigger. Once you eat some, you gotta eat some more because it's like,
So addicted.
I like the taste of it, but I'm not necessarily getting full.
Let me say the quote. It was from the movie Pootie Tang, but it seemed like it was talking about McDonald's. When it was Lechterberg, it said people don't eat anymore because they're hungry.
Kind.
They eat because they just want another Lechterberg.
Yep. You're not eating for substance anymore. You eating just for the taste of it.
And it's just senses that are triggered with the type of what's that called? Chemistry that they put together to create these GMOs.
Those taste receptors.
Yeah.
Those are flavor.
Flavor receptors,
Kind.
yeah, enhancers and stuff that trigger certain places in your mind.
Yep. That's why you got so many Jake stuck on fast foods and junk
Sweets
foods.
and yep.
Shake 'em.
Starburst, Skittles, Hot
And
Cheetos.
Shake 'em. Bug the hell out,
Arizonas and
yeah.
Skittles.
Kind.
Yeah.
All
They
those
gonna-
different
they gonna
sugary
bug the hell
drinks.
out, man. You can't eat
Kool-Aids.
your hot Cheetos and honey buns,
Kind.
No problem.
pork skins.
Your hostesses.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna have the money to go buy them either.
Kind, and they're not gonna be available.
Yeah.
Because first thing, you know, Jake is dumb. So Jake, first thing when all this stuff gets shut down, Jake gonna go into the little corner stores and just grab the
They
junk
gonna loot-
food.
They gonna loot all that
Kind, the
shit.
first thing niggas is grabbing is potato chips. You know, not water.
Right.
Because Jake don't think. Jake don't even drink water. Niggas stuck on Sprites and Coca-Colas.
Hey, and for years, these schools have been getting you to turn in your canned goods
Yep.
to the stuff that'll last, you know, for 5-10 years or whatever in a can. It seems like some of them's forever. You ain't thinking about hoarding up that type of stuff. You're gonna get the bullshit that can perish. Anyway, there's more.
Gun. Distinguished in family and fortune, her property, treasures, and food had been plundered by the Jewish defenders of the city during the siege. Famine was eating her heart out, and rage consuming her still faster. So she was getting madder and madder the more she didn't have food to eat. It says, maddened by hunger, she took the infant at her breast and said to him, "Poor little mite, in war, famine, and civil strife, why should I keep you alive?"
Cold. She developed a cold spirit,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
The
No fake.
love of many shall wax
Wax cold, kind, bro. And that's a man.
She no longer saw her flesh and blood.
Yeah.
So it's caring for it.
That's a
She's
meal
supposed to have.
now.
God,
that's her nourishment, man. That's how real it's gonna be out here, man. You think it's far-fetched that America can't go through that, man? Just because y'all waste pounds of food?
Oh, God.
40%.
Especially if you look at the buffets buffets like at the DC.
Yeah, bro.
They got mad at us because the brother brought in a to-go box.
Yeah.
But then they throwing away hella food at night. They throwing away.
Into the night anyway.
God, they throwing away 30 plus burgers, 30 plus chicken sandwiches, and the rest of the beans and all that stuff.
You know, all the food that that nobody gonna eat. When you go in there, it's a buffet anyway.
God.
So you pay to get in. It's like if you bring that in here, you gotta get it to go or you just eat. I'm like, don't say shit to me no more, man. Shut up.
Yeah.
God.
Anyway, yeah, but for real, America wastes the most. America, England, they're the top places in the world that waste food. It's up to like 40%.
God, and they got the highest obesity rate too.
Yeah.
You know, so those that's obese, they gonna really get it.
Yeah,
All that fat, they gonna lose hella weight in this time.
You're gonna be running for your life. You're gonna get caught. People gonna eat you.
Well, this is part of the glory of Babylon. It's about decadence. You can overindulge. You can have excessive amounts. You can do as you please, whatever is pleasing to your flesh here. That's why everything is accessible.
Gluttony.
But when all hell breaks loose and all that shit is scarce, that's when you people are gonna lose it, man, because you're used to the conveniency and the conditions of having everything at your disposal.
That's the word right there, bro.
Okay, that's why in the scriptures tell you in Apocrypha, an hour of Sirach. It's in Sirach.
Hour of tribulation is
Sirach 11. Just get it. Sirach 11.
Yep.
You're gonna
Make a
immediately
man
forget how good you had it, man.
Yep.
When the Lord start bringing His plagues and His judgment on this place, you're gonna go from the comfort zone that you in
27
here in America
11:27.
to realizing that you in deep shit.
Actually start up at 25.
All right. Sirach chapter 11, verse 25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction.
Right now, you forget of accounts like this that have happened. You forget that people went through stuff like that, eating their own babies and cannibalism and chasing each other. You forget what it's like to not have food. You know, you forget those child lines. And that was in recent history. You know, 40, 50, 60 years ago, people were standing in child lines to get food. You go back to the Great Depression, they was doing that. You know?
Soup kitchens.
Soup kitchens and all of that. Go ahead, bro.
And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity.
God, in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. So when you going through hell, you ain't gonna be worried about, damn, I had that Benz, you know, I had that penthouse, you know, I had a bunch of women. You ain't gonna be thinking about that. You're gonna be thinking about, damn, a cracker right now would do a bunch to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're gonna be thinking.
One Ritz.
God, one Ritz. You're like, that's a meal right there. You ain't gonna be worried about how to prosper. The American dream ain't gonna come to mind when you hungry, when you thirsty, when you got your kids crying and you looking at them for food. That's gonna be like, man, you ain't gonna be like, oh man, I used to do it big. You're gonna be like, damn, I need something in my stomach right now or I'm about to die.
Yeah, you're gonna wonder why is this happening.
Kind, bro.
Yeah, it's happening because you didn't repent, man.
Kind.
You know, you see
listen to
the
the
prophets.
prophets. Yeah.
You see the prophets on the four corners of the planet, and you know you're not listening, man. You're not changing your ways to follow the Heavenly Father, man. That's what this is. That's we reading this to basically put fear in you.
Kind, because what does the script say? The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
You know.
The other one said, through the terror of the Lord, we persuade men.
Kind, bro.
Therefore, knowing the terror of the Lord.
Yeah, therefore, knowing the terror of the Lord. How do we know? Because we look in the past, what He's done, and we look in the prophecies, which is the future, and see what He's going to do. You have more on there.
Verse 26. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. The affliction of
Either way,
Kind.
He can kill you or He can give you salvation in the end of your days right there. Right.
The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure.
Yep.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
The affliction of an hour maketh the man forget pleasure. You know, you had little trials on this earth. Say you lose your credit card or your car gets stolen, something like that. That make you forget about the good time you just had. You like, damn, my shit just got stolen.
They come out the club, you just did
God.
it big, bought the bar, got all the women, you bought the pile of car up full of them. Come outside and the car gone.
Yep.
You gonna tell them to get up the street, get away from you. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna forget about all the good time you just had.
Yep.
You're gonna sober up instantly.
God.
And you're gonna wanna, you know, to find where your wallet at or whatever the case may be.
See, the Lord, He's the best at turning a proud man into a humble man real
That's
quick.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
He knows how to turn pride into humility, man. All right. A lot of people they don't understand how the Most High works, man. That's why He doesn't like pride. And America is all about pride, man. You know?
And in his end, his deeds shall be discovered.
Yep.
Yep.
Whether you were good or whether you were bad, we all gotta stand before the judgment seat of the Lord. That's what you want right now? Okay. I got one.
You think these women that's getting all this glory on social media, you know, with they ass and tits out, you know, getting likes and a bunch of comments from these simps on Instagram and Facebook, you think all that pride that those women got, you think when all hell breaks loose out here in society, man, the Jacob's trouble, tribulation, when that arises, you think they're gonna have that same pride on them? When they feel like they, you know, because our women, they proud right now, man. And they've been that way for a minute. Okay? You ain't gonna have all that pride that you had when you went to the club with your homegirls, and you know you had the luxury of niggas coming up and offering to buy you a bunch of drinks. You know, you turn them down if he asks you to dance. You know, you play pranks on niggas. You just do it all, man.
Because I think you just said it. It goes along with the social media. All your likes, you know, all them likes on Instagram, retweets and likes on Twitter. All that make a girl head big. She'll make you feel like you less than nothing if she got a certain number of followers. That's gonna be the same woman that need help in that day. You know, because women don't have no protection. If you don't got no man, you don't got nothing.
Hey, not only a man that actually really truly cares for you, and he himself loves the Lord.
I said like better said like that. If you don't got a man of the Lord, you really don't got nothing in that day. Because ain't no man gonna look out for you. The scripts talk about how Yahweh Shai said in the day that you're hungry, the man of the Lord will have food to eat. In the day that you're thirsty, will have drink, you know?
Covert for the tempest, and a shadow of a rock in the very land. Rivers of water upon the dry land. Like when you're thirsty, they're gonna be the answer to all your problems. A man of the Lord is gonna be the answer to all your problems.
Because in that day, and even now, the scripts say the angels encampeth around about those that fear the Lord. So the angels are gonna be around the men of the Lord when they walk in the earth, when all calamity hits. You know, and
point them into where the right way to go.
Now,
stop right here. Go in this manhole cover. Somebody stashed some food down there, a bag of food or something.
Because what's the covering? The covering of the man is Yahweh Shai. But what's the woman's covering? The woman's covering is her man. So if you don't got no man, you have no protection. You know, you're going to be seeing this food. We always bring up the Book of Eli, the movie with Denzel. They have the woman out there basically baiting all men that came so they could be trapped or killed. You know? And even if you even look at the woman that was in that house with that one man that was ruling everything, she was still used as a tool. You know? She still needed the bare necessities. If that man wasn't looking out for her, she wouldn't have had nothing either. But that woman that was out there basically by that what you call it, that cart, she was baiting men in because they made her go out there. It's not like that was her choice. It was either she was gonna go out there or she was gonna get killed. You know, women gonna be martyrs in that day too. If you got a bunch of women, or it's a group of men that's out there basically going against you, you gonna have to get that woman up in order for some goods. Cause what they gonna use her for? Box. That's it. And then they gonna trade her off.
Man, I'm gonna say this, man.
It's
gonna be kind of far-fetched, but
in that day, if you want that.
And that day, you gonna have to have a fucking sex robot, a real dog.
Way more violent.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's how low you know motherfuckers became on this side, man. You know, in order for you to be safe, you might have to bring that dusty ass real dog out your closet real quick, man. You know, because it's gonna be dead bodies out here, man. All right. But let's go back because we kind of ventured off a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back to the main point.
Because
right?
you was reading, right? You were still reading that.
I don't want to interrupt you. Still video.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk. Still video.
Yeah, I'm recording you. This back in the article.
If you had any questions, you know what I'm saying?
I got 68.7 credits in theology. I grew up in 5% in New York. You know what I'm saying? But I choose to be a Hebrew. I seen Jesus 3 times in a dream. You know?
What did he look like?
Water. Can't tell God. He doesn't look at color. He told me don't tell nobody. Like we'd say black, white, separate. Like in America, we say black and white. If he was in France, you'd be French. If he was in Africa, you'd be African. If he was in Europe, you'd be European.
So
over here,
this was the image of the man that actually
glory.
walked the earth?
Glory.
This was the man that actually
That's
walked
the
the
color
earth?
you can see. Glory.
I'm asking.
Yeah, the man. The pizza.
I need that Crayola. I need that Crayola.
He brings people there.
Because
The Holy Spirit brings you there. Right?
The scripts give him the scripts describe him as a color.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They'll put
Man,
bronze and blonde hair, but when Moses seen him come down, you know what I'm saying? When Abraham seen him come down, when his wife Sarah was it
Well,
was saying
let me clear this up for you right
No,
now.
I'm
Because God was one thing that had that glory, but then the Lord Himself wasn't the same entity. There was another man that had the right.
Three distinct individuals, one Godhead.
No, that's all. That's
Okay, I gotta
the
study with you.
that's
I'm
the
not
that's
gonna
the
argue.
pagan. Yeah, that's true. That's the Trinity. What you talking about is the Trinity,
Yeah,
bro.
we teach what each one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But no, there's no Trinity. It's
Right.
Separate.
there's the Most High, the highest power,
Yeah.
and by Him was His Son and everything else.
Yeah. What about the Holy Spirit? You know, think
The
about
Holy
that.
Spirit comes from the Father too.
Right, he's in there too, because Christ said he can't leave unless he comes. So he's talking about another person. You know what I'm saying?
The Holy Spirit, yeah, but that's a spirit,
Right.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not-
a spirit, yeah.
and that
He's
comes
spirit.
from the Father.
Yeah, he's God, Almighty.
It's, the way that I say it to people to make it easier to understand is
They
the
all
spirit.
equal.
Let me no, hold on.
No, they're not.
No? Okay.
The Most High God's at
Get
the top.
John
Four?
John 14 real quick.
14.
14
I
and,
said like this
28.
about the Holy Spirit, right? It's an energy.
I'll bring my Bible out here too.
Yeah, you should. It's an energy.
I grab, you know, you got your own Bible, you go through each one?
Yeah. The sword. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But enough respect for y'all, man.
Yeah, this is
So
cool,
good.
bro. But the Holy Spirit is like an energy. It's like that little voice in your head that tells you something. It's not an actual man that can walk up and tell you something. Like if somebody yells something down there and you hear it, it's not like that. It's just something that's inside of you that you have.
may
and you
agree.
hear it.
You see about coincides.
Right.
Just like we got a spirit, right?
Right.
If your spirit ain't connected with the Holy Spirit, then you're not heaven bound. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if your spirit, if you look at First Thessalonians 5:23,
Yeah.
look at that real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to stop your love. I don't come up here and hang with you. I just got in town, but I want to live out here. I'm trying to get a job out here.
Okay.
And really, I was about to go down a rescue mission and see if I could. I used to work the one in Denver. I'm from New York. See if I could get a job with them or live there and try to get a job. But look at First Thessalonians 5:23.
Yeah, I got you.
Paul
First Thessalonians 5 and 23. And the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray, God, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Yahweh
Now
Shah.
he's put in order, right? Remember 3 different things. Your spirit's intuitive and always conscious and always talking to God. Every human being on this earth, spirit's go back to God.
Right.
But not every soul's going to God.
Right.
Your soul is like a mirror. You know what I'm saying? If your soul looks at the things you're always mentioning about these people fucking up. No, excuse me, I don't like cursing.
No, that's cool.
He made me curse. But yeah, messing up this money, these girls acting stupid, these guys tricking on these girls and not loving the way God tells us to love them because we make them shine. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We're symbolic to the sun. I'm saying the sun don't move. People wake up, I wake up and the sun goes off. You're a damn lie. The earth goes around the sun 24/7. You know what I'm saying?
That's not
No,
biblical.
I'm just saying the same thing with girls, right? So the soul is like a mirror, right?
Yeah.
What it sees, it was going to reflect. If it sees the glory of God, you got the word of God inside you, then you're going to walk in the spirit. If your eyes are everything on this world, then you're going to walk in the flesh.
That's true. That's true. I like to use this analogy. The difference between the spirit, the soul, and the body. I use the analogy of the computer.
Yep.
What keeps the computer generated, you can turn the power button on, is what? It's energy, it's power. Well, that's the spirit.
Okay, I got you.
The body is what? The monitor, the screen, the keyboard. the hardware.
Amen.
But the soul is what? All the memory that's stored in that
Hard drive.
in the hard drive. Okay, that's basically what makes you you.
I use that
Your
one
your
too. I
appetite,
like
your
to use it,
appetite, your emotions.
Amen.
You know how you think, how you feel. That's all stored in your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, once your spirit leaves your body, that's it.
Soul is
When the separation of the spirit and the body, your soul is gone.
Because let me add this to what you said.
Okay.
Because the body and the spirit together create your soul. When they come together, that's what creates your soul. Because your spirit now has to. Because if you had that's why when we get the blessings of the Heavenly Father.
What is God's offspring? What is Adam? What is Adam's offspring?
Well, hold on.
No, we don't. Okay, let's see. Each one teach.
Let me say this right quick.
Okay.
Because your spirit would do all the glorious things because it's connected to the Father, right?
Right.
But your body encapsulates it to do certain things because it's partial to those certain things, your flesh, right? The body. But together, now you're partial to certain things that your spirit would do and certain things that your flesh would do. And that's the constant war that you have between your body and your spirit. And that makes it a soul. That's what gives you your appetite. Like if this man was 7 feet tall, he might like 6 foot tall women.
Right.
But if he was 5'2", he might like 4 foot tall women. You see what I'm saying? So it makes your spirit and your soul, in your body, together make you the type of personality that you are.
Okay, and I agree with what you're saying. So you're saying, like, every man, I know every human being on this earth has the Spirit of God, but not all spirits connected with the Holy Spirit.
No,
Let me finish.
the Spirit of the Most High.
You can change me.
All
I
right,
heard.
go
Okay,
ahead,
I start this.
Go
I start this.
ahead,
I'm
go
wrong.
ahead,
Then
go
correct
ahead,
me.
go ahead, bro.
All right, so,
You don't want to be on camera.
huh?
You don't want to be on camera, do you?
Nah, because these brothers, they know because.
No, you gotta put them on.
Nah,
Okay.
when I become fully equal with, like,
It's good.
I know what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
And I love what they believe. You know.
Okay.
I don't dispute. I'm learning.
All right.
But yeah, check this out. Job, look at Job 10:4, right? Job is thanking God for clothing him
Yep.
with sinews, bones, flesh. Who's he thanking? He's thanking him for covering his spirit, soul with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right? Your soul is responsible for where it's going. You're responsible for your soul.
Yeah.
Right? Right? You got some souls that's going to go to Hades, and some souls going to heaven. You know?
Well, actually, let me correct you on that. Your body goes to Hades.
No, your
But your
body
spirit,
goes to
your
death.
spirit goes to heaven.
And your soul.
This is Ecclesiastes 12:7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it
Because
was.
the dust is what creates the body. You know that, you know?
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it.
Your spirit, and it separates. No spirit,
I got
no
your-
spirit goes down into
Where
the
you study
earth.
at? Where you
Huh?
study at? No, you sit here and study?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here for a while, man. I'm trying to stay out here. I'm trying to get a job, man. Pray on that for me too. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't be running around here homeless and doing no crime, you know? So, he said, yeah.
But we Lord willing, we here every Sunday. You know,
All right, so
Lord
what about
willing,
within
right
a
here,
week?
man.
Within a week. You know what I'm saying?
Every Sunday, come out and stand before us, bro. This is church right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We have a church right now?
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
the building.
To
That's right.
get the information, this is how you do it. Or through the weekend go on the internet and watch it. Before they shut the internet down.
But Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday, I can't get you on. Like Monday to Friday.
Nah, because we got
We busy, you know.
Can you
Yeah,
help
we
a brother
busy.
get from New York? Help him to get a job. Can you help him get a job?
point you in the right direction.
Please
but
do
but
that.
off camera,
But
we'll
yeah,
talk.
I wanted to ask you something else. I won't leave you alone. I like you was doing. Y'all on cue, man. I gotta keep studying with y'all, man. I love that, man. Straight up. Some sharp brothers, man. All right, praise God.
All right, man.
All right.
Go back to the article. Yeah.
5%.
This back in about famine.
Hey, but you couldn't resist the wisdom, though.
God.
You know,
And
because they be expecting, you know, brothers, because we young.
Yeah.
They expect us to, you know, not know shit, and they, you know, Jake has that, you know, I'm an elder, I'm an older cat, so, you know, what do these guys know that I don't know?
Yeah, what can
And
they
they gotta
teach
come
me?
some, they gotta have something to prove.
Yeah.
You
He
know?
didn't really push that issue too hard though.
No, he didn't. He
really-
didn't.
He
He kind of kept it. He kept it in the middle.
Yeah.
You know,
And he humbled
he's
too.
he's reasonable. You know.
Yeah. A lot of this.
But you can see the struggle though.
Right,
you can see the struggle because when you tap into these other philosophies, man, that'll it takes you, man.
Goodness.
Yeah,
With the scripture. Yeah, you about to grab it?
Yeah, Isaiah. Is that what y'all was talking about?
To many.
No, that was
To the making of many books, there's no end.
Yeah, where's that one at?
That's Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
That's Ecclesiastes.
Kind of
12.
right there.
He was right
This is Ecclesiastes.
But it's like either do you want the word or you want us to help you get a job, you
there. Oh
know?
yeah, it's
If Jake really serious, stand here and get this word, man. That's what they stand around because they know they're going to get fed with loaves and
Fish.
you're going to get some fish sandwiches and stuff, but you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to stand and hear the word,
And
man?
let me tell you, you know what the Spirit made him do? The Spirit made him walk off. So he didn't even get the info on no job.
Yeah. You would have waited.
Because he didn't, you ain't going to stick around for the word? Or go up the block. You can't get the information on the job. Not that I had it, but you know, like I said, we could point you in the right direction, something. You know, give you something to look forward to. But I mean, it was going to lead you back to this at the end of the day. Yeah, you got it, bro.
This is Ecclesiastes 12:12. And further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end. And much study is weariness of the flesh.
Hey, and he wearied himself by going into too many philosophies. He named like 3 of them. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm God body, I'm 5%er from New York. I love the Hebrew.
But I choose to be a Hebrew.
I choose to be a Hebrew. But you gotta get rid of all that other stuff to truly be a Hebrew. Matter of fact, quick precept right quick. Somebody grab Jeremiah 6:16. Because
Jeremiah,
you gotta know where you can read it.
Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths.
The old paths.
Yep.
Them other little religions you was into, that's all new stuff. This is the ancient way. The way that dwelleth righteousness. The way that leads you to a kingdom. The way that leads you back to the heavenly Father. That's what this word is when you have a proper understanding of it. You can't mingle this with any other doctrine. You can't mingle this with any other belief. It's all or nothing with this thing. And it's the ways of the old, the ancient way. Go ahead, bro. The ancient understanding, which clearly says it's not that new thing that came after the book of Acts that said you can do what thou wilt. The Lord will forgive you. It's okay because the Lord died for you. No, He wants you to hold to His statutes, laws, and commandments to the best of your ability. But the upgrade is that He'll help you by putting it in you. Go ahead, bro.
It says, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls.
Yep, and you should walk therein this old way. You gotta leave all that 5%er and whatever, God body, whatever else you're doing, you gotta leave that at the door. That Christianity, that Islam, you gotta leave all that at the door, man. Leave that outside and come as a newborn babe and start up fresh with this thing. But some people, some of these old bottles, they've had that so ingrained in their spirit for so many years, they can't let that old man go completely. So they eat a little bit of this, what they can stomach, and then they vomit up all the big stuff that they really gonna need to build their faith up solely in this. And then when they can't make it make sense because they come across a stumbling block, they start adding in them old doctrines, trying to make sense out of it. And that's when they get all confused. That wasn't on that. We go back to whatever brothers, you know.
I had that account of Kings about the siege.
Going back to the famine.
Yep.
Did you finish your
Oh yeah, because I still